My fellow Americans, today is Friday, January 23rd, 2026, and here are your top headlines of the week. At the World Economic Forum this week from Davos, Switzerland, a sweaty, disheveled, confused-seeming President Trump rambled for over 45 minutes in a speech where he continued his claim that the U.S. needs Greenland and that we would be taking it one way or another. It's unclear what other NATO members and European leaders thought of the talk, though the stunned silence in the room, even after he concluded, may be a hint. Less than 24 hours after the speech, however, Trump would pull his famous taco card once again, stating that planned tariffs would no longer be placed against European allies and that a deal was apparently on the way with Greenland. Details of said deal remain, as of yet, unannounced.
Also in Davos, Donald Trump announced the newly formed Board of Peace that will seemingly skirt the UN in an attempt to end conflict between Gaza and Israel. Other members currently announced for the group are Marco Rubio, Jared Kushner, Steve Wilcock, and infamous former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, or as I like to call them, an absolute nightmare blunt rotation. Among the announcements made by this apparent Board of Peace was a comprehensive construction plan for what remains of Palestine, including business ventures, fully featured districts, tourism plans, and more. What wasn't seemingly mentioned was where the current Palestinian population is expected to go, or what they're expected to do, as they are still being met with hostility by Israel and U.S. forces as we speak.
For a third week in a row, heavy ice activity continues throughout Minnesota and much of the Midwest as door-to-door operations increase in the face of fierce protests by the local citizens who are often hit with chemical munitions while committing the crime of expressing their First Amendment rights to free speech and free assembly. This comes as a controversial new memo from the Department of Homeland Security leaked, which encourages ICE officers to enter homes to conduct raids even if no judicial warrant is present. People who oppose this measure, also known as people with functioning brains, are quick to point out the constitutional ramifications of warrant-free raids, something that clearly seems to clash with the text of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution.
And on the topic of the Department of Homeland Security, rumors from within the halls of Congress continue to hint at growing popularity and bipartisan support behind potential impeachment proceedings for DHS and proud puppy killer Kristi Noem. Noem has been heavily criticized in her leadership of the DHS, particularly when it comes to ICE and the way they currently operate. It remains unclear how or when official articles of impeachment will be filed, or how many on the right side of the aisle will show any amount of spine for the American people for once, but it's a situation worth watching as things progress.
In an unprecedented move, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced via social media on Thursday that she had instructed the DOJ to arrest 3 individuals in connection to a recent protest that broke out at a church sermon in Minneapolis. The protest happened as part of a larger initiative by Minnesotans to rid the state of ICE's presence, and the church was chosen after it was discovered that one of their preachers was a field agent for the federal agency. While the protest was nonviolent, pointed, and intentional, it drew outrage from the right-wing political machine, and the DOJ no doubt sought to make examples of the arrestees. Bondi and the DOJ vowed to continue to seek vengeance on anything they deem detrimental to the Christian faith, a move that pushes them ever closer to outright Christian nationalism.
All that and more tonight on TIDO State of the Union.
Fly safely. You know why I say that? Because I'm on the flight. I want to get home. Otherwise, I wouldn't care.
Let me just
Lay's, tears, some sprinkle stuff, somebody cinnamon rolls, just whatever.
Happy Friday,
we
January
made it.
23rd, and welcome to TIDO State of the Union. I'm Zach. Over here is Callie.
I'm Callie, dudes.
We hope everybody has had a interesting and good as you can week. It's been another tumultuous week in politics news that we're excited to break down with you guys.
Yeah, dude. It's been... I feel like with the beginning of this week, it was like Tuesday, Wednesday, we were like, man, we might not have a ton to talk about, which is a crazy thing to say, I understand. But I feel like as we've collected, we're like, oh no, there's a lot to talk about. Maybe not as many topics.
Yes.
But like, so much is fucking happening right now.
Yeah.
The American system is collapsing before our eyes.
Yeah, we watched this week, as we said in the off, maybe as far as like big number of news stories, I would say maybe about the same as last week, but it's just we're seeing a lot of like the continued erosion of the rule of law and the continued erosion of the American hegemony.
Well,
and all of a sudden things are just kind of crumbling here, like we predicted.
It's like the American spirit.
Yeah.
It's like breaking, but it's the projected American spirit, this American dream, this American concept that like if you were a young American growing up in the school system, I feel like with like Zach and I, we're young millennials. We were kind of taught what the American system, like on paper, it was one of those things like on paper, this is great.
Equality for everybody.
Yeah,
everyone has
a fair shake. Everybody has the
things.
opportunity. And, but we're currently in the process of this where I'm like, on paper, great. In practice, clearly doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, we are seeing just, in Davos in Switzerland alone at the Global Economic Forum, Donald Trump just
making a fool of himself.
just embarrassing America, embarrassing the globe, really,
Like,
on a scale that we've not seen, even from this big bumbling idiot boy.
I've been embarrassed to be an American basically my whole fucking life in many ways.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, but we're reaching a new level of embarrassment.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of embarrassment where it makes you, when you're like, you gotta be like, oh my God, this is moving past embarrassment to shame. And now we need to like recognize that we're no longer embarrassed and we're like, actually, I'm full of shame. Do something about it. You know, I'm in the season of being like, I gotta start doing something about it. Cause like the shame I feel is real.
Yeah, man.
Like Zach and I talk about it regularly. Like we grieve for our country every time we read the fucking news.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, I feel like I'm ripping open fucking wounds and just
Yeah,
being like,
it's
how
just
fucking dare we be here?
Dealing with grief after grief. But of course,
after
I'd be
grief.
remiss to not mention today, the 23rd, the general strike.
Yes.
That they attempted in
Solidarity.
Minnesota seems to have been a huge success. Tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 or more people in the streets in Minnesota alone.
I'm pretty positive there are already conversations. There are more cities that are talking about doing this, and
Great.
there are definitely conversations about doing it again in Minnesota.
If nothing else, these are good. These are good moments just to see that there are other like-minded people here
Yes.
who are also sick and tired of this shit and sick and tired of living in this system. And this was a big way for them to come out today. Minnesota's been coming out, and again, folks, it's worth mentioning the weather in Minnesota is historically cold right now.
I would say that is poetic.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah, very much
love
so.
it.
So, and also we'll get into a lot of things today. Before we start, I think we should do a little special edition of Callie's Corner.
Okay.
Callie, is there anything interesting that's happened in your life lately?
Yes.
Before we get into the stories, let's get into the stories of what's
yonder,
happened with you.
your.
How's your week been?
So honestly, my week has been good. All things considered, considering the chaos of everywhere, I'm having a decent nervous system week, despite the chaos that has found me. One of the things that on my social media, I'm being very, like, my personal, like, I'm trying to just, like, get people to understand. It's like, hey, it's important to know that, like, my political belief system is in place because of my experiences that I've had as a person, particularly as a worker in the working class, because the way that I really dove headfirst into politics was through the labor movement. Because I have unionized multiple workplaces. I have worked on staff for a union. I have very strong morals when it comes to how you should treat your workers ethically. Because I myself have been the bottom of the fucking barrel. As a lot of people have in the working class. So anyway, it's important to understand this. And it's important to reckon with the fact that, like, politics affect our everyday lives. And if you're somebody who is able to, like, turn a blind eye to it, because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, part of you finds comfort in not being aware of it, and that's okay, because that means your nervous system probably needs it. But if you are able to do that, it is a privilege. And the reason I'm saying this is because I got fired yesterday. The first time I've ever gotten fired in my life.
Womp, womp, womp.
And I think it's really important to note that I had put my 2 weeks in on Tuesday. I work for a local farm. I'm in the agriculture industry. I also am just like an ethical person, I like to think, in many ways. And as a laborist, someone in the working class, somebody who has fought for labor rights, I was at a point with this job where I was like, it was just taking too much of me. It's the farming industry. It's agriculture. That is an industry where you break your body to feed people. And the expectation is that you break your body to feed people. And can I tell you something? It's very important to feed people. It's the only thing that fucking matters. But it's also important to recognize how you are utilizing oppression and exploitation within your industries when you're even doing something that is as important as feeding people. And I just got to a point where I realized I was looking at the trajectory of, like, the timeline of working at that job. And I was like, you know what? It's not one that is actually healthy for me. It pushes my nervous system to a point. So I was like, the best thing for me to do is step back. So I put my 2 weeks in on Tuesday. And everything was fine, amicable. We were totally good. Last night I got a phone call at like 7:45 p.m. or something from my boss and a text being like, hey, can you talk? And I was like, whoa, this is an emergency. Let's talk. And they proceeded to fire me, saying, I know you put your 2 weeks in, but you don't need to come back to work tomorrow. And I was like, oh.
Wait till you guys hear why.
And the reason was because that earlier that day, I had just gone to work and I posted a video story on my social media page. And it is important to know that I had just gotten to work. And my job on the farm is the owners of this farm. It's their home. So I had just gotten there and I posted a video basically being like, hey, y'all, on TIDO, State of the Union, this show tonight, we're going to be talking about this memo that went out from Kristi Noem to the ICE agency about basically how they are allowed to skirt the Constitution to arrest people. Because that memo is incredibly unconstitutional. We're going to go through it today. And I was just basically like, it's unconstitutional. This is what's happening. If you are interested in learning more, we're going to be talking about it on TIDO State of the Union. So please tune in. So that's what I said in this video. And when my bosses talked to me saying that they wanted to fire me, it was because of the video I posted on social media.
And right now you guys can see here on the screen, this is a copy I obtained from the AP that they uploaded. So these first, we'll go through this more. I'm just kind of getting the memo up on screen for you guys. This is an explanation of what the memo does from the whistleblower aid group. And then the actual document can be seen.
It's like way down. It's important. It's important to please notice how long
here's
this
the official
document
memo. This is the memo that was released. This is signed by Todd Lyons, the acting director of ICE. Continue, Callie. Just wanted to let people know what they were looking at.
I appreciate it. This is what I was talking about. And the reason Zach and I think it's important to go through is because this violates our Constitution, full stop. Simply because of the fact, we're going to get into it. Anyway, so I was like, we're going to go through this memo and be talking about this. So I posted that on my social media. Well, we have different belief systems, me and my old bosses. Something that we have been able to put aside because we both believe in the agriculture industry. And I've moved to a point in my existence where like daily politics, what's happening with our political system affects me on a daily basis. It affects my nervous system. And I can't stay quiet about it on my personal social media. Anyway, they basically said, you are to remove that post because it's on our property. And because of it, you're also fired. And
yeah, basically, huh?
It was because of my political post on social media. And you know what? I will give it to my mother because she always said, be careful what you post on social media.
She was right.
Because she was right. But can I tell you something? She was right about that. But it is wrong to act that way because it was petty.
Yeah, it was.
It was petty because I'd already put my 2 weeks in. We could have gone our separate ways and I could have helped.
Yeah, they had just talked about how they weren't going to burn any bridges with you.
They just talked to me about it.
And they went ahead and decided to torch it anyways.
And that's on them.
Yeah.
But for me, and I can't do anything. They had my hands tied. You know why?
Yeah.
I was on their property. Yep. So guess what? I deleted the video. And
Callie,
I said, you're right.
Callie, if you're just joining us, Callie lost her job for TIDO State of the Union.
Yep, for TIDO State of the
Union. She
Union.
sacrificed it all for the State of the Union here. Well, I think with that being said, that'd be a good time to transition maybe into what we're going to be looking at as far as discussing our daily list. I think we should start with the memo, right?
Yeah.
Since you were just talking about it. It was the thing
it's
that
a
got
natural
you
segue.
fired.
It's a natural segue.
I think let's bring it up here. It should still be up on my screen. Here it is. So this memo was released. It looks like May 12th, 2025. So this actually came out last year. The leak just happened. It just leaked this week.
You know what that tells me? That they have been training ICE.
Yeah.
Utilizing this. So they've trained ICE to literally ignore, to not listen to their personal understandings of the Constitution.
Yeah.
They are, for lack of a better terms, brainwashing.
Yeah.
And to be fair, those who are a part of ICE are very easy to manipulate that way.
So essentially what this does is directly undermine the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. I'm going to bring that up for you guys now. I'm surprised I still have it posted to the website. Here's the Fourth Amendment, the text of the Fourth Amendment. Then we'll get into what this memo does, what it says, and why it probably goes against this. Fourth Amendment here. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. This is pretty clearly describing that you need a signed judicial warrant from a judge or another person of power to exercise a random search of anybody's home, anybody's person, anybody's papers, anybody's anything.
And let's be real, they say searches and or seizures.
Yes.
Now, it's important to recognize that like the rhetoric used in the Constitution is loose.
Yes.
For a reason. Because it's supposed to be something that I always grinds my gears about people who claim to be constitutionalists.
Yes.
They will talk about it being a fixed document.
Yes.
When the Constitution was clearly written to evolve.
Well,
why are there so many fucking amendments?
This is as clear as it gets as well. So basically what this memo is arguing, that they are arguing that a Form I-205, which is not a judicial warrant, it is not a warrant signed by a judge, it is a removal order that you can get to remove a criminal, undocumented immigrant for many different reasons, whether that's overstaying your visa, little things like that, up to criminal prosecutions and bigger things like that. Those typically would be, hey, we have this, it's signed with your name on it, come with us, we're going to take you to the station, we're going to get you booked, we're going to get you a trial scheduled, and we're going to figure this out. What this memo is saying is that, yes, you have to try and knock on your door, as we can see here, before entering a residence pursuant to Form I-205. So if they have a 205, ICE officers and agents must, quote, knock and announce. In announcing, officers and agents must state their identity and purpose. Following announcement, officers and agents must allow those inside of the residence a reasonable chance to act lawfully. Should the alien refuse admittance, ICE officers and agents should only use a necessary and reasonable amount of force to enter the alien residence, following proper notification of the officers or agents' authority and intent to enter. ICE officers and agents must not effectuate an arrest in a third-party residence without consent, exigency, or a judicial warrant to enter the third-party residence.
That's pretty fucking
To be clear, a Form I-205 is not a search warrant and should only be used to enter the residence of the subject alien to conduct an administrative immigration arrest. Once inside the residence, officers and agents may conduct a limited search of the immediate area to assure officer safety. Basically, what this is doing is just going around the Fourth Amendment saying, it's okay. If they don't answer the door, just fucking go in anyways.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
crazy.
Yeah, dude. And the reason, here's the thing. And the reason I brought up, like, the Constitution is a fluid document.
Yes.
The language is loose.
Yes.
In many ways. The reason it's important to have these conversations about it, the semantics around it, is because we need to look at what ICE is doing. The excessive force they are using.
It's
scare
absurd.
tactics. It's absurd because can I tell you something?
Go for it. Go off,
Yes,
Queen.
I'm trying to figure out how I want to say it. We are seeing currently right now, our administration is using like fucking psychological warfare. And they are telling a group of people, ICE agents, who are the people who are employed? Who's your standard ICE agent? We talked about this.
Probably a January 6th there.
Yes. We are realizing, and it is coming out, like, who are ICE agents? Who's attracted to this job? What kind of training are they going through? What are they being told? And this is clearly showing me that the way that ICE is operating versus like that fucking memo, they are not operating within that memo. No, they are not. They are stepping outside of any constitution. And they are showing excessive force to keep a very specific agenda alive, and that is the agenda of this government. That is the Christian nationalist fascist agenda that wants anybody who is not white and compliant out. And can I tell you something? That's just immoral to me.
Yeah, this is basically... Mike was muted there for a minute. What I said was, I just want to make sure this is on the record. What I said was, if you see this photograph of this small child, this is a child who was captured by ICE, even though his parents were trying to
Or they're doing their due diligence to become-
They have
yes.
paperwork filed. They captured this kid on the way home from preschool to use him as bait to get his dad to come out.
Yes, dude.
They burst into their home, took the child out. On the way home, before they even got home, he couldn't even get his fucking backpack off. What I said was, if you see this photograph and you are somebody who maybe has been supporting ICE and maybe thought they're going after immigrants and criminals only, and you see this photo and you still think, which I've seen a lot of people think, well, let's see the entire story. I want to be explicit about that. What I said was, go fuck yourself. Go fucking fuck yourself, crawl in a fucking hole, and stay there, because you are pond scum. Just so that's on the record. Fuck you if you support this still. Fuck you if you've ever supported it, but particularly fuck you now if you support it.
Yeah, dude.
After seeing that, what's it gonna take?
Well,
What's it gonna
and
take?
it's interesting because
How much of a fucking bootlicking cuck can you be?
Well, now we're about to see some interesting true colors. This photo has triggered a lot more people than I think have been triggered before because it's a kid. And I think that goes back to the crux of this. People talk about the First Amendment. I'm bringing it back to me getting fired today or yesterday, whenever I fucking got fired. It doesn't matter. You know, they claim their First Amendment right. And I'm like, you're right. You're right. You do have that right.
Yeah.
What does it take for you to step outside of yourself to see and recognize that, oh, what's happening is actually we're separating families.
Yeah, literally.
We are taking people who are deemed problematic, people who probably have had a really fucking hard go of things. Because if people are willing to risk their entire fucking lives to build a life in this country, we're knowing where they came from, who the fuck are you to keep anybody from doing that? First off, I took history class. I learned about Ellis fucking Island. What the fuck? Second off, if you are ready to still defend them and also claim to be somebody who cares about children after this, a resounding go fuck yourself from me as well. Because I no longer can trust what you are saying. Because it's the whole practice what you preach thing.
Yeah, it comes down to me, and this is something that Callie and I talk about frequently, is like, at some point in many aspects of your life, the rubber has to start to meet the road.
Has to.
And if you're seeing kids get abducted, and you're seeing teenagers get tackled in the streets, and you're seeing 100,000 Minnesotans come out to say, get the fuck out of here.
Get out of our community.
And you're still going to be on the other side of that.
You know who you're not listening to? All of the people screaming.
And the fucking Christ-like morals you probably claim to
Ooh,
abide by.
I'm so happy you included that bit about the people who were protesting at the church.
Yeah, should we move on? I'll get that up.
No, because
keep chatting.
No, because what we are seeing right now is the rise of white Christian nationalism. And there are so many people that I know, that I've known in my life, who hide behind their, I'm a Christian. They hide behind the label. And here's the thing, if you're going to hide behind that fucking label while you're church, while people who also claim to be Christians are doing horrendous things to other human beings, like, dude, that you need to wake the fuck up, because Jesus was a socialist. I am not a Christian by any fucking means. I was raised in a Christian household. I was raised to be Episcopalian, soft rock Catholic, so I still have a lot of fucking shame and guilt surrounding it. But I have stepped so far beyond that concept because I still consider myself like a spiritual person simply because I believe in helping my fellow man. You know what I mean? So I'm like, if you claim to be a Christian person,
when are you going to start doing it?
When are you going to start practicing what you
I
preach?
I will take a minute to say shout out to all of the congregation. Many members of different clergy went to the airport in Minnesota today. Several of them got detained and arrested.
I think about 100 of them.
They blocked.
I saved a video.
Yeah, they blocked the spillway, the roadway where departures and arrivals is, and they got themselves arrested. Protesting what they believe to be a good and worthy cause.
And can I tell you?
Shout out to all those clergymen.
Shout fucking out.
And all the clergy members across the country who are standing up and saying the right thing. I'm seeing more and more Christian faith and Catholic faith people stand up. We need more of it. More of it, y'all. Let's go.
I'm shouting out a baddie that I went to high school with who is a minister, I believe, in a Lutheran church in Vegas. Kylie, bad bitch. She is out there practicing what she preaches.
Hell yeah, man.
She is out there doing the fucking Lord's work in that way. Yeah. Because it is so important right now that anybody who has a privilege, who has had privilege in this country, when ICE comes knocking on your neighbor's door, you have to realize that sometimes what your privilege means is you are a body standing in between an ICE agent and another American citizen or another person trying to build an American life.
Yes.
And dude, no, because like all this to say, when I am talking about people who claim, like who people who are religious, who not practicing what they're preaching, like there are a certain group of people that like I'm going to be honest with that and say like, I'm going to question your morals. But there are a lot of great people out there who are doing the fucking, like they're out there fucking being willing to speak up when they know what's on the line. And it's important to remember that, especially if it's if it's all that's on the line is your reputation and your comfortability.
Attorney General Pam Bondi on Thursday announced that Nikema Levy Armstrong has been arrested in connection with the disruption of services at a church where a local official with U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement serves as a pastor. Fuck that guy, by the way. Fuck you, you bitch.
What
the incident happened on Sunday.
Snake.
I know.
Snake in the fucking grass,
As
dude.
a group joined services at the city's church in St. Paul before chanting, "ICE out" and "Justice for Renee Good." One of the church's pastors, David Easterwood, leads the local ICE field office, and one of the leaders of the protest and prominent local optics, Armstrong said she's also an ordained pastor. Bondi also announced the arrest of Chantil Louisa Allen, an elected member of the St. Paul School Board, and then also William Kelly, the woke farmer, who you might know him as on social media, was also arrested. Here's the code. 18 U.S. Code 241 describes pertaining to when two or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district in the free exercise or enjoyment of any privilege.
So they're utilizing that to
Very
say
vague law.
you're threatening a
Church service, essentially, is what they're using.
Okay. Can I say we need to make something very clear. I believe in this country, any religion, until it's recognized by the governing body, is considered a cult. And to be recognized by our governing body in this country is already going against the fucking Constitution, in my opinion.
Also,
separation of church and state.
Yeah, this is just clearly an illegal arrest order. This is the start now of the process of arresting dissenting political opinions. If you don't think it is, I don't know what else to tell you. I have a bridge to sell you.
And it's important to notice, like, who's dissenting the most? Other Christians. You know why? Because this administration is claiming to be a Christian.
Yes.
Like, they're claiming to have those morals. Guess what, motherfucker? Look in the mirror.
Not only
Where
that,
are your morals?
Not only that, this is the first and what they promise is going to be many more arrests made for anybody that they deem to be attacking the Christian faith. They have said time and time again that they are not going to let people attack Christianity, I guess, whatever that means. And it is also worth noting they wanted a quick hearing, an expedited hearing to get them arraigned and get them bond set. That did not happen. Judge denied the motion for an early hearing, so all three civilians have been released.
Good.
Waiting for
at least they've been released.
Probably
They're
the
safe,
cases to
hopefully.
get thrown out.
Also,
if you guys want to know just another reason to not trust the government, to not trust the White House, Homeland Security, everything they're putting out on social media right now is a lie. For further proof of that, I would like to show you this, Exhibit A. This is a photo. On the left, you see the photo that Kristi Noem tweeted out herself. This is Nikema Levy Armstrong, one of the three people who was arrested for this church protest.
Bad bitch.
Composed face. And then on the right, you see the image that the White House posted, clearly manipulated with AI. So you cannot trust anything that comes out of them. The funny thing is, Kristi Noem tweeted out the image on the left herself. They put out the real version, only to put out a fake version a few hours later.
Can I tell
you? And they thought nobody would fucking notice.
Incompetence.
It's crazy.
Incompetence speaks for itself. That's why it's like revenge is best served cold. Like karma get it. Because like this bitch was her own fucking karma with this. Like what a dumbass.
Yeah.
You didn't think about this?
Yeah, they posted this photo. Also, look at that. They made her ear look more prominent.
But I also didn't want to be like,
darkened her skin.
That is called racism.
This is racist. Yeah,
That's
I
racist.
definitely. I'm glad you brought that up. I don't want to ignore the clear racist overtones that are going on with this photograph.
That one on the left. Bitch,
Composed.
That queen is in her power.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Doesn't give a fuck. And look what they had to pretend.
You know what that tells me though? They're scared.
They're so scared.
They realize that people don't give a fuck. People don't care about their fucking fascist fucking jackboot shit. They're over it.
Here's the thing, y'all. If people are willing to just stretch their brains a little bit and learn a little bit more about how our political system works, like this shit will fail because they are truly banking on the fact that people are too tired to understand how our political system works and that they won't do the work to learn. Because if we simply hold them accountable to how our system is supposed to run, should work, we wouldn't have to be we wouldn't have to fucking be talking about this.
If the safeguards that we had in place were supposed to be working and the DOJ was doing their job, Donald Trump would have never been allowed to run again, let alone even be in this position.
Here's the thing. He shouldn't have even been anywhere near the ballot box.
No.
He lets you know who he is from the moment he opens his fucking mouth,
felonious pedophile.
Dude, he's a literal piece of shit. And yet people said, I would rather take the chance on the literal piece of shit than a woman. And I'd also rather take a chance on this literal piece of shit because this literal piece of shit is making some part of my life feel comfortable.
Yeah, man.
And it's my privilege.
Speaking of literal pieces of shit and the gears of justice and the mechanisms turning, another story I wanted to bring up today. House Democrats' support for impeaching Kristi Noem is, quote, exploding. This is from Andrew Solander.
Exploding
Axios.
is quite a word to use. Man, that woman thinks she is...
I'm not going to be able to read a ton of this, but I'll read this. Support among House Democrats for impeaching Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is skyrocketing, nearly doubling in the last week to 100 co-sponsors. This is in the House.
Doubling in the last week is impressive for our political system.
Yeah, this was when over 50 had signed onto the impeachment articles, up over 100 now. The question is it going to be enough? You know, impeachment is naturally a bipartisan effort. Impeachment has to be a bipartisan effort. Do they have the bipartisan support to impeach this bitch? They should, because the way she is leading the DHS is abhorrent and it's cruel and it's terrible. And this is the very, very first domino that should be falling. It should be an open and shut case. If you're asking me, Zach, do you have faith that this is going to get done, that they are going to get the votes to impeach and remove Kristi Noem from office? Fuck no.
Well,
fuck no, I don't think they're going to get the votes to do this.
Every pattern that we have seen from our political system right now, I was about to say, the women in the MAGA party,
they all have Mar-a-Lago face.
And can I tell you something?
Crazy.
They all want to be Cersei Lannister, but they don't want to meet their demons.
No.
So they don't want to deal with what it actually means to be Cersei Lannister.
I would love to see Kristi Noem get impeached, even if articles get introduced, which they still have not been, but the sponsors are rolling in now.
I need to note the reason Zach is like, I don't think anything's going to fucking change, is because past patterns have shown us that doesn't work. Because if they did, if the system was just, Donald Trump was impeached.
Yeah, twice.
And he still sits in the fucking Oval Office.
Yeah.
So... Look, tell me to my fucking face that our political system is working as it should.
Yeah. And this is, by the way, I want to say this is an impeachment like this would be the smallest shred of justice being served for what ICE is doing to these families and these innocent people in the Midwest and all over the country. This is the starting point. And ICE needs to be dismantled, abolished, defunded, and every ICE agent needs to be thrown in prison. We're talking about pushback, and we're talking about things that Congress could and should be doing. You'll be disappointed to know that 7 House Democrats gave the push needed to get the ICE funding continuing in another effort to kick the can down the road and stop the government from shutting down over
Instagram,
budget.
if anybody's looking, working families, follow this Instagram. Very pro-labor, pro-union.
Because the protests today in Minnesota were huge.
And there are a lot of other... I'm really excited that general protests are making a fucking appearance because it's time.
Look at this.
This is a tactic we can use,
Let's watch this video from MSNBC here if we can. And it's going to show some of the crowds that showed up today. Sorry about the pixels. It should load into a higher resolution soon, I hope.
You can see him, though.
Yeah, look at that crowd. Look at that crowd of people, man.
There are people seeing this photo who weren't seeing it before.
Yeah, who haven't been seeing this.
It's reaching their algorithm.
Yes.
It's because more and more people are getting upset. I've seen more Christian white women crying about this photo and like being moved to say something because of it, which is fucking amazing. I've seen so many of them. It shouldn't
There's
have
the kid's
taken...
father.
It shouldn't have taken a
It's
child.
not true, by the way. Yeah. So DHS is lying.
They're lying.
It's obvious that DHS is lying about this. I believe the family and the lawyer.
It's so important to believe.
This is another thing, y'all.
It's so important to believe people's experiences.
Yes, and stop believing the government.
Stop believing the government. They're lying.
That's just something you can always keep in your back pocket. But right now with this Trump regime, everything they are feeding, everything they put on social media, everything they say is a lie. Do not trust a word out of these people's mouths. They are untrustworthy swine, okay? Just to get that off of there. Yeah, I just wanted to show off some of the protests that were happening in Minneapolis because it's encouraging. Look at this.
Let me tell you.
Look at this crowd. We're going to the Nazi app for
I'm
this.
like, you keep me going.
Yeah, man, look at this crowd.
You are keeping me going.
Reportedly, over 700 businesses closed down in the Minneapolis area.
That was just in the metro area.
Yeah.
They weren't talking about anywhere else. Also, it is important to note there are a lot of small businesses who can't necessarily afford, like if they close down, they can't afford to pay their employees. They can't afford to pay their workers. So if a business can close, support them however you can. If a business is staying open and they're saying we are still supporting this, support them. Because the odds are they're paying somebody's fucking phone bill.
Yeah, man. And they are doing, and people are showing up in a big way. And
These are the people that can. These are the people that can.
People are showing up. People are showing up to this knowing that these ICE agents have AI apps on their phone. They can track your face. They can track your car. They can hack your phone. They can do things they should not be allowed to do from a privacy perspective. And we know that, and we're still showing up. I saw a video of somebody who said they had come out and they were observing ICE doing the legally thing. They're legally protected right to observe
legally watch
the police and observe ICE. And somebody took an ICE agent took their license plate down and said, "I got you in a database. Now you're a domestic terrorist." For all they were doing was watching. It's quite something that an occupying force has come in, is terrorizing the population, and they call us the terrorists.
Wow.
We're the terrorists for watching what they're doing.
The projection is real.
It's insane.
It's out. It's. I'm watching it and it's deplorable, but I'm also watching it being like, y'all are your own.
And there are more,
and
there are more reports
Sad.
that morale, especially Minnesota, as it gets colder and as more people show up to fucking hate them,
well, people
morale's
are
going down. They're getting kicked out of Speedway gas stations
they're
just trying to
also,
go piss.
People are showing up at the hotels where they're staying. They're not letting them get any sleep.
Good.
But it's good. But something that people need to remember as this progresses, the reason it shouldn't get that far is when people will get driven to a certain kind of psychosis.
Yeah.
And these people, the people who work for ICE, are not the kind of people who we want getting driven to psychosis because they're trigger happy. You know why I know that? Because they shot Renee fucking good.
Yeah, and they're thugs. They're just thugs.
They're thugs. They're looking
they're
for a reason
J6
to kill people.
protesters who are just violent insurrectionists, and they're looking for a place to put that.
So it's important to realize that the reason we need to start acting now is because people are not mentally well. Their nervous systems are not doing okay. And when people feel pushed to extremes, they're going to do fucking crazy things.
Yeah. And
if you think we've seen crazy things so far, just you wait.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
Wait.
That's the thing. Is y'all, it hasn't even got that hard yet. It's not even gotten that bad yet.
This is the beginning,
we haven't even gotten into the story that could topple our economy. We'll get to it here in a minute on a more global scale. But they're just talking about ICE alone, this issue alone is a boiling point. And if this was the first effort to do a general strike, I don't see how you couldn't be encouraged by the crowd that came out. That's just in Minneapolis. Seattle had huge protests. A bunch of cities all over the country did.
Let me speak as a laborer in Seattle, not even Seattle, in the Pacific Northwest. Who just fucking got fired today or not yesterday, I guess. Time doesn't exist. Who got fired for using my First Amendment right on social media. Thank you. Because moments like that don't feel as scary as they could.
It's a good reminder that you're not alone.
It's so important to remember you're not alone. Because like me,
it can feel like that.
It can, especially
if you're out here in a red area like we are. We're in a deep rural red area, and it feels like we are pariahs sometimes.
Yeah, and
that means that I'm excited for tomorrow potentially.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes, absolutely. One of our local towns is having a protest and we probably are going to show up. But it's so important to just realize, like, in moments where your nervous system is being pushed to limits, like in America, we have to have money to live, literally survive, to buy food, to have a roof over your head, and to lose a job is really hard on the nervous system.
Yeah, man.
Because that's your livelihood. That's your scarcity mindset is going to be triggered.
That being said, if you guys have Amazon Prime, you have a Twitch Prime. If not, cancel your Amazon Prime. You should cancel it anyways.
Yeah, but if you have
just
Amazon
give us
and
that
utilize
money.
it, you can throw us some subs.
The money you would have been spending on Amazon Prime, spend it on us and subscribe to us because we could use it now more than ever.
Well, yeah, because like even though today, the fact that like I was going to walk away from this job anyway, and like I have avenues that I'm going to be exploring. But it made the experience of like getting fired not a very scary experience at all. Because I'm like, I know that there are people out there who feel exactly how I do. They're showing up in waves.
Big, huge numbers.
And like I said, so in Minnesota, I'm like, you're helping me today. So thank you.
And tomorrow we'll see what the crowd is like. We might be streaming that actually.
You should.
Might do some streaming, do some interviews, see how people
too.
are thinking, see what the spirits are like.
Yeah, dude.
Of course, all depends on how our day goes.
Yeah.
And
Do you want to cut to both of us?
Progress. But yeah, so very good to see another
Yeah.
of these protests come out. A first attempt at a
Thank
general
you.
strike. I'm not going to call it a true general strike.
Not yet.
That's something where the collective action would have to be on a mass
State level.
to actually a national level. I would say.
Well, no, I mean,
to
sorry,
actually
it needs
grind
to be
the gears
national,
down.
but like each state needs to have their
Yes,
own.
and
So
maybe we'll get there. This was the first step. In
I
something
have
like that.
I already have an inkling of where it's going to come from, and when I see it happen, we'll jump on and I'll start talking about it.
Yeah.
There's somebody who I would like to have onto this podcast to
That
talk
sounds
about
great.
that, and his name is Matt McIntosh.
Let's go. That being said, I think it's time to move to some more global news. Of course, United States centric here. I'm going to bring back up the web, and we're going to talk about two things from Davos, Switzerland.
Let's talk about how America is the most embarrassing fucking place in the goddamn world.
So I'm sure you all saw, if you haven't, Trump's deranged speech that he gave to the World Economic Forum, where he just rambled for about an hour about Greenland.
This is their
He called it
leader.
Iceland several times, talking about how they're going to take it, talking about how some of you would be speaking German if we hadn't saved you in World War II, not recognizing that one of the most popular languages in Switzerland is German.
Can I tell you a funny meme I saw earlier?
Please.
It says somebody should put Trump in a freezer and tell him it's Greenland.
You believe it.
And I went,
Also, they posted this crazy AI image of him. Hold on. Hold on.
they need to stop using AI.
I'm going to Donald Trump's Truth Social. There's this one. This was what I was talking
Oh
about.
my God.
I don't know if he tweeted this, if he
Suck
tweeted
your
it
own
out.
fucking cock. You know what I mean? Like, get off.
Look at this guy. That's our president. I can't find the post, but
You can tell that we don't utilize this site at
No.
all. Also,
site
Truth
sucks, bro. Look at
Social,
this shit.
talk about projection when all you're sowing is like literal chaos.
anyways, yeah, he gave this speech at the Global Economic Forum about Greenland, and then he announced after that he is going to be starting a board of peace. It's not clear who's going to be in it. I know Canadian PM Mark Carney had his invitation rescinded after he gave his Global Economic Forum speech.
He feels,
basically went scorched
He
earth and
feels
said-
so inspired now that he has that Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, he said, I got this board of peace. And you know what? The first thing the board of peace did was Jared Kushner got up and he gave this rousing speech about how basically they're going to raise Gaza and Palestine and rebuild it to be a white man's tourist destination.
We have to say
very peaceful about that. Very peaceful.
One thing we need to fucking make so clear is that the Palestinian people are being murdered.
Yeah, still to this day.
And it has not
genocide
stopped
continues.
for decades.
No.
Like anyone who is going to fucking claim that is not happening, I'm setting my boundary now and be like, you ain't welcome in my fucking house, because they literally want to be like, once all the people are gone, we're gonna make it a destination
Yeah,
for the
man.
fucking weirdos and pedophiles and the people who are so obsessed with white nationalism. It's crazy. It's diabolical.
Yeah, man, this is exactly what they wanted this whole time. I'm going to read a little bit from this Reuters article here just about this peace board. Davos, Switzerland. Oh, who wrote this? Steve Holland for Reuters. U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday launched his Board of Peace, initially designed to cement Gaza's rocky ceasefire, but which he foresees taking a wider role, worrying to other global powers, although he said it would work with the UN. So it's not the UN, but it's like...
Well, they don't want to have to like abide by UN's
No.
like
it's
policy, but they want to be able, we want a place at the table, but we don't want to play by your games.
Once this board is completely formed, we can do pretty much whatever we want to do.
No.
And we'll do it in conjunction with the United Nations, Trump said, adding that the UN has great potential that has not been fully utilized.
In the intro, you talked about how like we don't know what the rest of the world's. We have an idea of how the rest of the world
I don't think they
feels.
like this.
No, but here's the thing: if they've gone silent, it's because they're all talking behind closed doors,
Yeah.
and that should be worrying.
Yeah. Trump, who will chair the board, invited dozens of other world leaders to join, saying he wants it to address challenges beyond the stuttering Gaza ceasefire, stirring misgivings that it could undermine the UN's role as the main platform for global diplomacy and conflict resolution. While regional Middle East powers, including Turkey, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, as well as major emerging nations such as Indonesia, have joined the board, global powers and traditional Western U.S. allies have been more cautious. It's almost like Trump's putting together some kind of like axis. And they're very like evil
Dude.
people, like an axis of evil.
Can
Where have
we-
I heard that before? Where have I heard that term before? Interesting.
It's interesting. It's just, let's talk about these Middle Eastern powers.
Yeah.
Where do they get their money from? Oil.
Yeah, man. A lot of it.
And what is the Republican Party's biggest fucking agenda is getting oil.
Oil.
We just invaded an entire country over it. Can I tell you something? The oil industry is going to fucking die because we are running out of oil. We are raping the earth of oil. So all of these countries that want to stay alive in their money, and they all want to stay important fiscally, and the only reason they are is because of their oil. When that shit fucking runs out,
all hell's gonna break loose.
well, yes. And guess what?
This is the time.
Gaia is done letting you rape her.
This is the time when we should be seriously investing our money in green energy solutions and alternative fuel solutions to get out of the fossil fuel world. Instead, this short-sighted, pig-headed regime is doubling down on the need for fossil fuels. I get it. We are not at a point in this country where we can completely transition away from fossil fuels. I will admit that.
No.
They are extremely important.
Well, they've made us, we are reliant on
to
it.
the supply chain, to everything that we do in this country. But right now, if we are not preparing for what's going to come next, then it is going to come as a shock when we get there. The older generation and Republicans and the GOP's inability to look down the sights and see what's coming is shocking.
There's no
They are
critical
acting
thinking.
with complete just baby brain when it comes to all this shit. And again, yeah, there must be some real spicy fucking oil wells in Greenland for Trump to suddenly want this land so bad.
Yeah, dude. And you know what countries like Greenland do is protect their land.
Yeah.
And respect the land. And
he says mineral deals are going to be in the deal, so we'll fucking see.
we're in this is, I think you made a really good point that's important to recognize. Like, we are reliant on fossil fuels.
Yes, very much
And can I tell you something? There have been a handful of execs that have made sure that our political system keeps reminding us that we are reliant on these. And that's fucking big oil, dude.
Yeah.
Who do you think bribes the majority of the people in power? Who has the most money? Like, there's a reason that the dominoes have fallen how they have.
Yes.
And we're at this point where, like, I speak as somebody who works in agriculture. I watch how our day-to-days change.
Yeah, man.
Because of something called climate change. And climate change is important to just radically accept because it is the earth fighting back.
Yeah, man.
But guess what? Deserts, not a sustainable place to live.
No.
When water runs out, you know what's eating up all of our water? Data centers. You know what the data centers are all doing? Keeping AI going, making sure that you can make a pretty picture
We're gonna talk
with
more
AI
about.
on your phone.
I have more news to talk about with the AI bubble tomorrow in our our gaming show.
If anybody ever asks me, like, from my old life, especially like my family, what radicalized me, it was when I started learning about the concept of global warming as a kid, and my household denied it.
Speaking of global warming, here's a post from the White House account I wanted to show you guys
Oh, no.
while you reminded me of it. Where is it? I gotta let this fucking ping post. Oh, here's the Greenland post I was talking about.
What kind of penguin is that?
A penguin that has the same size feet as the president, apparently.
Is that an emperor penguin?
That means... Also, I don't think there are penguins in Greenland.
No,
are
I was
there?
about to say emperor penguins live...
In Antarctica. Where's the post I wanted to show you?
I'm saying this loud and clear.
Here it is. Here it is. This is a White House account. Record cold wave expected to hit 40 states. Rarely seen anything like it before. This is basically a Trump tweet that they posted. Whatever happened to global warming?
Bitch.
Because it's cold.
Bitch.
If global
Bitch.
warming, why still cold?
If, bitch.
Liberal. Checkmate.
There's a reason.
Checkmate,
there's
liberal.
a reason. Snowflake. There's a reason we need to change the semantics to climate change, because it's understanding the patterns of the climate and of the seasons and understanding how they are changing and how you have to fucking work with them. I work in the agriculture industry. It's something I think about every fucking day.
We tried that, and they just didn't buy it. When it's still global warming.
No.
We're calling it what we
yes,
want.
and that is one of those things where it's like, those are the kind of semantics that this administration uses to trigger a certain
Constantly.
group of people. Anyway, yeah, no, caring about the earth radicalized me as a kid.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what started making me go, maybe the belief systems that I'm being raised in, maybe they're not always right.
Yeah.
Look at me now.
Yeah,
I just got
so we'll
fired.
see, man. As we continue to kind of plunge toward economic uncertainty on a global scale,
It's time.
Trump's
it's
Davos.
time to let America fail. America needs to fail.
I think
if that is the worst thing that's going to happen to me for speaking up right now, who fucking cares?
Yeah, it's more important to.
It's so much more important.
Say the important thing, to speak your
So
mind
much
in
more
this
important.
moment. You will never regret saying anything, but you will regret saying nothing. That's what I believe. I think that we are heading towards a time when, much like the Nazis in post-World War II world and post-World War II society, I don't know if it's coming tomorrow, next week, 5 years down the line, people are going to be publicly ashamed of ever being a GOP voter during this Trump era,
and they
of
should
ever
be.
voting for Trump, and they should be. And they should be ashamed of once following ICE and letting this go through administrations. This is administration by administration. The blood is on so many people's hands. We are just now seeing what happens when it goes unnoticed. And we cannot let it go unnoticed any longer, folks. Ever, ever, ever. No more. Ever again. Never again.
Dude, fucking preach.
Never again.
Never.
We can never let this happen again. We have to.
And can I tell
again,
you,
never let ICE agents have a moment of peace, even when they're off the job, even when they're home with their families. If you see them in the store and you recognize they got ugly mugs, they got recognizable ugly faces, yell at that guy. Yell at him. They don't deserve peace. They deserve to be ostracized from our society. And I truly think we will get to a future will be had where people will be embarrassed on the whole to admit that they supported it because it's complicit.
That's on them.
Absolutely. That's their trauma and that's their burden to carry.
And that's their burden to bear. As we move forward, it's going to be uncomfortable to set these boundaries with people, especially if they're people that maybe you love.
It's also important too, if somebody is willing to admit that they were wrong and admit that they made a mistake, let them have a second chance in your community maybe. Let them have a seat at that table one more time.
Yeah, dude.
Because
well, and it goes back to being, it's like, okay, now walk the walk.
Yes. It's give them a chance to practice what they preach again. And if they fail again, cut them out. Or if you need to cut them out of your life, fucking cut them out of your life. You know people more than I do. If you know somebody who's a MAGA head and you know they're never coming around, do not feel bad to cut them out. We talked about that last week. I've done it. Callie's done it. It's important.
That's a preservation of your nervous system and your ability to show up for your community. And if you maintaining a relationship with somebody who only wants to trigger you so you are okay with their...
Yes.
It's okay for you to prioritize yourself.
And again, if you are watching this and you are an ex-MAGA or you are an ex-Republican and you're thinking, am I crazy? How did this get to this point? You're not crazy. You've just been misled. And you've just been lied to. And you've been propagandized. And you've been abused. You've been chewed up by the same machine that chews all of us up, brother. Yeah. You just have to. The first step is admitting you were wrong. And unless people can start to do that en masse,
out loud,
bridges will not be repaired. And if you want bridges to be repaired with people you love and people you care about, that maybe you have realized now that you have wronged, the first step is apologizing and admitting that you were wrong.
Saying it out loud to somebody and meaning it
goes a long way.
Dude, it goes a long fucking way.
You'd be surprised. That being said, I think we're just about out of topics for this week. We've been chatting for just over an hour about things. I'm sure these shows will get longer as we have more engagement and people will be sending us material.
Yeah, dude. And right now, it's okay because right now what's important is that the information gets out.
Yeah, man.
And that's what we are trying to do here at TIDO is just like, let's get information out there. And ultimately, I think what I am hoping comes of this project the most is just like people being willing to listen to other people's stories and believe them. You know, I say that as somebody who's like, my story made me. My story is the reason I have the belief systems I do.
Yeah, man.
And there are plenty of people in my life that would rather not listen to it and hear it than make some radical acceptance. And you know what? That is on them.
Yeah, man.
And I understand and I love them all the same. But guess what? It's time to start fucking speaking up.
Yeah, man. It's time to start speaking up. It was another week in politics. We will be with you guys again next week. Same time, same place, same channel here on Twitch TV.
What a hell of a way to go.
Thanks for being with us. We're going to be with you guys tomorrow. Depending on, I think we're scheduled for 4. We might bump that to 6 depending on.
We'll see, depending on if we go to the protest.
Yeah.
If we are at this protest, we'll probably be live streaming. So if you want to check out what we're doing live, great. If not, part one of our goals is potentially getting some interviews and hopefully that will be a part of
reported.
this.
And we'll be live tomorrow morning, probably before the protest as well. Maybe playing some craftlings, doing some gaming. Maybe we'll be live tonight doing gaming. Who knows?
Who fucking knows?
At any rate, thanks for being with us. If you were with us today, we were tuned in, dropped out. I'm Zach.
I'm Callie.
And shit's fucked up, y'all, but it ain't gonna be that way forever.
Love
Peace.
you. Drink some water. Take care of your nervous system.
Ladies and gentlemen.